Hello and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and today it is time for my April Get a Hold of Your Shelf. Now you might notice that I don't sound quite the same as usual, and that's because my beloved voice recorder has gone unbroken on me, so now I'm just having to use the microphone for my camera. It's a little bit shit, but just bear with me. I'm going to try my best to get it replaced if I possibly can. So today I'm going to give you a little catch up on how my reading is going so far in April. I'm going to pick my next Get a Hold of Your Shelf challenge, and of course I have a new cocktail to show you. So let's start with that bit, shall we? Now what I'm going to make today is called the OMG+T. It's essentially gin and tonic but a little bit fancier. So I'm starting with just a glass full of ice, and to this I'm going to add some gin, a splash of elderflower, I don't really know what a splash means so we're just going to guess, and a shit ton of berries that I chopped up earlier. Cool! Now I'm supposed to shake this vigorously, but I don't really see how I'm supposed to do that. It doesn't have a lid. And then finally, just going to top it up with some tonic. How delicious does that look? I've been making some real disgusting cocktails lately, but this genuinely looks nice. Yep, can confirm that is delicious. At last, something not horrible to drink. Okay, so on to picking my Get a Hold of Your Shelf challenge. As you saw if you watched last month's video, I picked the Read the Longest Book on Your TBR category, which has not happened. I haven't even started it. You guys did very generously say in the comments that I could still get the point if I read it by the end of April. So fingers crossed that I make some headway. But for now, let's pick the April challenge. Okay. Read the book that you've had the longest. Okay, interesting. Let's go and see what that is. I've had this one for more than a year. Oh, I've had that one for frickin' ever. And this one. There are so many books on that TBR that I've had for multiple years. So I'm not sure exactly which one I've had the longest, but I'm gonna guess and say it was this. My friend lent me this. This is the worst part. I need to give this back. I'm gonna guess it was at least 2 years ago, if not 3. And I don't really know why I haven't read it, because it looks very interesting. Laurie Penny is a very controversial figure, but I am intrigued to see what she says. So this is my challenge to read in the month of April. And now I'm just going to show you some of the books I've been reading this month, because I've actually had such a good reading month, probably because I've barely done any uni work. But whoops, let's have a look at these books. So far I have read 4 books, starting with The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which was a 5-star read. This was absolutely incredible. It's a YA novel inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's really, really powerful. If you only read one book this year, make it The Hate You Give. Then I read The Night the Lights Went Out by Karen White, which I'm mainly just so in love with this cover, but it's also a really fun read. It's set in a little suburb in Georgia, and it'll make you want to be able to speak in a southern accent and make sweet tea, and it's got a really strong sense of setting, and I really liked that. Then I read Gone Without a Trace by Mary Torjussen, which is about a woman who comes home to find that her boyfriend has left and taken every trace of their relationship with him, so it's like he didn't exist. I thought this one was only okay. It had a great twist that really did take me by surprise, but other than the shock factor, there wasn't that much else in it for me. And finally I read The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which I've been reading for a while now. This is one of the Girl Sex 101 book club picks, which is the book club that I'm running with Emma Tobias, and I absolutely adored this one. I gave it 5 stars. It's beautifully written. Every word is just like poetry. I cared about every single character. I liked that we actually read this one really slowly because it gave me a chance to just kind of slowly fall in love with this world. I adored this one. So those were the books that I read, and I did DNF a couple. First I DNF'd Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which wasn't really anything personal. I bought this book because I thought I might want to write about it in my dissertation, which is about female agency in young adult fairy tale retellings, and actually quite early on I decided it wasn't quite right for my topic, so I stopped reading it. It's not the type of book that I would usually pick up, so me DNFing it is not a comment on the book, it's just not really my genre. And I also DNF'd a book, but I might come back to it, called How to Be Human by Paula Kokoza. That one just came out last week. I was reading a galley of it, and I did think it was interesting. I was kind of gently enjoying it, but it gripped me at the beginning and then slowly kind of started to let me go. I loved how weird it was though. It's about a woman who just gets obsessed with this fox in her garden, and she starts thinking that they're having a relationship. And at first she sort of tries to make the fox fit into her sort of domesticated life, but then as the book goes on, she instead starts to move over to its wild life. And it was interesting. I would like to finish it, but it didn't have me hooked enough, and there's so many other books I wanted to read, so I DNF'd that one for now. On my currently reading pile, I still have The Good Immigrant. That one's been there for a few months. I've read quite a few more essays this month and I'm nearly finished with it, but I kind of don't want it to end because it's so interesting, so I'm really dragging this one out, but that's still there. I've been listening to an audiobook through BookBeat called The Shining Girls by Lauren Bughes. I think the story is really interesting, but I'm having a slight problem with it being narrated by a man on the audiobook. Because it's about this serial killer who's killing women, hearing it narrated to me in a man's voice, I'm just finding really very disturbing. It's written by a woman though, so I think I'd rather read the physical copy and not have to have this man's voice in my ears. No offense to the narrator, he's doing a very good job. He's just too creepy and I'm really not enjoying hearing him describe killing these women because it makes the whole thing just seem more grotesque to me. And then a book I've just started is called He Said, She Said. This one comes out the 20th of April, and I'm a little bit wary about it, just from the title and the description, because it's about an attack, a man attacking a woman, and it's called He Said, She Said. The tagline is Who Do You Believe? And that just made me feel a little bit icky. There's so many problems with women not being believed when they speak up about their attacks that I don't really like the idea of turning it into a thriller of who's lying and who's telling the truth. I think we should just start believing women when they talk about their own experiences. But this one has had really good reviews and a lot of people I respect have said really good things about it, so I'm gonna give it a go and see how I get on. And finally, what do I have on my TBR for the rest of April? I'm planning to read The Stars of Fire by Anita Shreve before it comes out next month. I actually barely know anything about what it's about, other than that it's a historical novel set in 1947. But I have heard so much about Anita Shreve in general, and my mum really likes her books, and I think I've only read one once. So I'm just intrigued to give it a go and see what her writing style is like, because I've heard good things. I'm planning to read The Garden of Small Beginnings by Abby Waxman. That also comes out on the 2nd of May, and it's a book that I probably never would have thought to pick up if I hadn't been sent it. It's about a young widow discovering her love for gardening, two things that I really don't know anything about, but it looks like a really happy, feel-good book, so I'm going to try and read this one. And I'm also going to try and read Before the Fall by Noah Hawley, which is about a plane accident and the mystery surrounding it. I heard about this one a while ago before it came out and I was really excited for it. Then I kind of missed it when it did come out, so I'm going to try and read that one this month. And of course, I've now added to my TBR Unspeakable Things by Laurie Penny, so I'm definitely going to try and read this one and hopefully read House of Leaves as well. We'll see how that goes. So that was my April Get a Hold of Yourself reading progress, and this is the most delicious drink that I have made so far. I'm now going to sit here and enjoy the rest of it, so leave me a comment below if you've made it and let me know what you think. And of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for new videos every week. See you next time!